The New York Rangers AHL affiliate, the Hartford Wolfpack, will have a ton of great prospects down in the system this year, and one guy who is probably the more NHL-ready guys out of the bunch is Will Cuylle. This guy actually had 4 games played last year, had 5 penalty minutes with the Rangers when he got called up, was a -2. Didn't look amazing, had a fight though, looked pretty solid there, was playing physical, he was fighting, he was doing all that good tough stuff, but obviously the scoring wasn't quite there. He was playing like a fourth line, third line kind of role for the most part, so didn't get a whole lot of ice time, but still looked pretty decent, and actually got to make his NHL debut in his hometown of Toronto against the Leafs, so that was pretty cool for him, I'm sure. But had a very good year last year in his first full year of pro hockey. Now, he did have a couple games, 18 games, back in 2020, 2021 when the OHL was not playing because of the COVID stuff. He had 18 games played there, 2 goals, 3 assists, 5 points. Looked pretty solid, nothing crazy, but definitely did a pretty good job for being how young he was at the time. And then that next year, though, ended up being the captain of his Windsor Spitfire team in the OHL, and he led them on a very good playoff run to the OHL finals against Brennan Othman, where him and the Flint Firebirds faced off against Will Cuylle and the Windsor Spitfire in the OHL Western Conference Finals, unfortunately. Well, either way, it didn't really matter that we were going to have a Rangers prospect make it on. Obviously, Windsor won that, though. They went on and ended up losing in the OHL Finals to Hamilton. So, it is what it was there. But they had a pretty good team there. Will Cuylle definitely had the better team with him, Windsor Spitfire-wise. They were definitely a better team overall than the Flint Firebirds, who were pretty much carried by Brennan Othman and a couple other guys. So they had a good team there. But Othman did a lot of that work there. But overall, Will Cuylle is a fantastic player. He's a big, physical guy, 6'3", 212 pounds, left winger, left-handed shot. Doesn't turn 22 until February 5th, a former second-round pick, number 60 overall back in the 2020 draft, and was actually that pick that we got from the LA Kings for Elias Anderson. So at least we got something of that Elias Anderson move. Obviously, it was a pretty big bust for us, but ended up actually turning into a decent prospect. So we could actually get something pretty decent out of Will Cuylle here. It could be a pretty solid middle six winger one day at the NHL level, and it could be as soon as this year, really. I mean, we could see him. I'm sure he'll be the top call-up. I think him will probably get called up over a guy like Brendan Othman, just because he already has more experience at the pro level and is a more physical guy, and it would definitely fit better in a bottom six role, I think, with the way he plays. He is physical. I mean, obviously Brendan Othman is too, but Will Cuylle is definitely a little more physical. Probably a little more refined defensive game right now, but definitely both are great players. But I do think that more NHL-ready guy right now is probably Will Cuylle. But Will, back in that playoff run, though, had 25 games played, 15 goals, 16 assists, 31 points, plus 20, had 30 penalty minutes. He was fighting a lot, doing the scraps and stuff, but definitely a great player. And he really led that OHL Windsor Spitfire team to the OHL championship there. Did pretty good. Unfortunately, like I said, though, they did lose to the Hamilton Bulldogs there, but overall, he looked great. And in the regular season there, his last year in the OHL, had 59 games played, 43 goals, 37 assists, 80 points, looked absolutely fantastic. Played for Team Canada at the World Juniors as well, had 7 games played, 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points, looked quite solid there as well. But last year with the Rangers, had 4 games played there, looked decent in that limited sample size, had a fight. Obviously, you'll see that here in the clips, but overall played decent. And in the AHL last year, ended up finishing first on the entire Hartford Wolfpack team in goals, as well as second on the team in points. And he had a really good year last year in his first full year of pro hockey. 69 games played, 25 goals, 20 assists for 45 points, plus 10 in the playoffs. Was a little disappointing, you could say. I mean, 9 games played, 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points. Didn't quite have as many points per game wise, but still played pretty good in the playoffs. Definitely not terrible, but hopefully he can have a big year this year. I think we could see potentially Will Cuylle and Brendan Othman on that top line there. Maybe being centered by Johnny Brzezinski, get that kind of vet AHL guy centering the 2 young prospects. That is a possibility. We could see Will Cuylle would probably play left wing there, and you could see Brendan Othman play on the right side, because Othman has had a bit of experience at playing left and right side, so we could see Othman, step up on that first line and play with Cuylle and guy with Brzezinski. That's a possibility. Or we could see Othman kind of, play in that second line there, have Will Cuylle in the top line as kind of the 1-2 punch with the left wingers. But I will definitely have some videos updating you guys on the actual lines once we know more about them, closer to the start of the season down there. But it definitely should be a great team. Hopefully they can go on a bit of a longer playoff run than they did this year. Although they did, do pretty decent in the playoffs this year. Hopefully they can have a bit better of a team and maybe go on a much deeper run. That is definitely a possibility with the team they have, the goaltending they have, 2 really good solid goaltenders in Louis Domingue and Dylan Garand. There's going to be a great team down there, and it's going to be headlined by guys like Will Cuylle for sure. And, Etta Will, he had 45 points last year, 25 goals, 20 assists in 69 games played. If he plays about the same amount of games played, we could probably see him crack 30 goals, maybe 25 assists. I don't know, 10 points, 5 goals, 5 assists. I think is definitely a realistic possibility. He's a great goal scorer. And I think at the NHL level one day, he definitely could be a 25 kind of goal scorer with, like 20, 25 assists as well. He definitely has that kind of potential. But down there next year, I think he's probably going to crack 30 goals. My guess and projections are going to be, let's say, 30 goals and like 27 assists if he plays, about 70 games played like he did last year. All of it depends because he could get called up for 10, 15, 20 games this year. That's a possibility. So that will obviously impact how many points he can get. But if he does play close to 70, I definitely do expect him to get probably 30 goals and 25, 26, 27 assists. Something around there is definitely realistic. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please smash the like button. Definitely subscribe for daily New York Rangers content. Thanks for watching, and see ya.